At this time, we have a couple of special guests who would like to present citations for the honorees. They're going to come up and speak. The first one is Representative David Linsky, class of 1975.
All right, I promise you I will be absolutely brief because one thing I know is to not stand in between eating dessert. I'm not going to interrupt that. And I am clearly not here because of my distinguished athletic career at Natick High School. For those keeping track in absolute Natick High School athletic trivia, I had a completely mediocre career as a member of the Natick High School varsity tennis teams in 1973, 74, and 75. 500 at best. So I don't expect to ever be up here being inducted. But there are a lot of people who are in this room who are extremely worthy of being inducted. And in recognition of that, I offered resolutions before the Massachusetts House of Representatives this week. I'm not going to read them all because the last thing that you folks want to do is hear me read 12 resolutions from the Massachusetts House of Representatives. But here's what they look like. I'll show you. This is what they look like. And you open it up, and it says, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to, in this case, Dick Clasby, class of 1949, in recognition of the athletic achievement while at Natick High School and your induction into the Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given the 6th day of May 2010 at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, Robert DeLeo, Speaker of the House, David Linsky and Alice Pike, State Representatives. All right. Obviously, during the ceremony, the people who are being inducted or their families or their representatives are going to be coming up here. They're going to be formally inducted. They're going to get one of these as well. I want to congratulate everyone who had a hand in this. This is an absolutely amazing turnout. I'm looking at this room. You know, this is about 400 people, and to me, it is a truly a wonderful, wonderful dedication of the spirit of Natick, Massachusetts, which is the absolute greatest place to live, work, and raise a family as far as I'm concerned, and Natick High School. I am so proud that I'm able to return to the town that I grew up in, the town that I went to public school in, the town that I went to high school in, and be involved in this community. Congratulations, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for making me part of this.
The next speaker is the chairperson of the Selectmen, Natick Selectmen, Mr. Josh Ostrov.
Thank you so much for the honor of being inducted into... Oh, that's the speech that I gave in my dreams last night. I'm Josh Ostrov, Chair of the Board of Selectmen, and I'm not going to get between where you are now and Susan Warnick as MC. But I want to just offer my congratulations to everyone that is helping to put this evening together, to the generous sponsors, to the selection committee, to the organizers, and of course to the worthy people who are being inducted tonight. You know, one thing that David Linsky did do that is very special is the House of Representatives, the legislature officially recognized Natick as the home of champions. And that's something that I think reflects the spirit of excellence and competition and sportsmanship and teamwork that so many of you here exemplified in your high school sports careers. I want to just leave and acknowledge the great work of the coaches and the mentors and the parents and the people that make it possible for kids to excel in high school athletics. So thank you very much for allowing me to address you tonight, and have a great evening.
At this time, I'd like to call up the and a graduate, and I don't remember what year, but is our principal, Mr. John Hughes.
Thank you, Kirk. Good evening, everyone. It was class of '66. Let's hear it. Anyone? Here we go. I promised Helen Salou I'll be short, so Helen, start your stopwatch. Thank you, folks. It's an honor to be here, and I really only can sum up tonight with 2 words. One is thanks to the committee who have worked tirelessly to pull this event off, to organize this, to navigate the minefields, and to set a path so that this hopefully can become an annual event to give the recognition to the people who so richly deserve it. So thank you to the committee. The second word, great. Ellen, don't count the clapping time. The second word is congratulations to those of you who are being inducted tonight. This is a significant achievement. It really is the pinnacle of your careers and what you did for the town of Natick, and the honor that you brought to this community, and the joy, just the pure enjoyment of going to Memorial Field or to the rink or to the gym or whatever it might have been. So thank you, congratulations, have a wonderful evening.
Again, representing the Executive Board and Selection Committee for the Natick Athletic Hall of Fame, I do have a list of special thanks that I would like to make prior to getting the actual ceremony going. First off, the number of sponsors in this community who gave money to help to make this night possible. They're all in your booklet. There's too many to name, but again, there are so many, as usual, so many organizations, businesses in this community who have always stepped up to help many of us, whether it be in athletics or academics. So again, a great thanks for those sponsors. I'd also like to thank, and I want these individuals to stand up, please. First, the members of the Executive Board for the tireless work that they have done. We have 2 directors, Mr. Robert May, Mr. Robert Annabali. Treasurer Mike Fair. And I know she's going to kill me, but I don't care. I'm telling you, our secretary, Mary Johnson, has... Stand up, Mary. The amount of work that this lady has done to help bring this about, she deserves so much credit because it would not have come together without her. And a special thank you. Absolutely. I also want to, when I read off the list of the selection committee, not everybody was able to make it tonight, but the individuals who are here, when I read off your name again, if you could stand, these people put a lot of hours and hours and hours trying to make sure that we went through the right process in selecting people, and these people deserve a lot of recognition as well. These members of the selection committee, if they would stand up. Jim Odger. Tom Brenneman. Charlie Christie. Judy D'Antonio. And again, not to single out, but again, Judy was very much responsible for this event right here, the food in the Crowne Plaza. Mike Dempsey. Bob Galani. Beth Grady. Doc Grady. Arthur Hall. David Linsky, if he's still here. He was on the selection also. Fred Murphy. And I went right over, I'm sorry. Al Del Monte, thank you, right here. What happens when you get a little older and, you know, the bifocals, sometimes the focus isn't there. Paul Peters. And Miss Tatuni. I had the privilege of working with Miss Tatuni for 6 years at Coolidge, and then at the high school, and she's still Miss Tatuni. I don't call her by her first name. Quickly, again, special contributors who work behind the scenes, either tonight or in the process of putting this together. If they could quickly stand if they're here. Dave Jacobson, who did the web design. He created our web page and is doing the video tonight. Christine Woolley, who is helping him with the videos tonight. Henry Massa, who has put together our slide video show that will be part of tonight's program. Video Paradise for the pictures right here. There's taking pictures tonight. Thank you very much. Natick Pegasus, who is filming the event tonight and also helped put together the slide presentation. Peter Mundy, the voice of Natick, who was part of the slideshow as well. Mary's son, Paul Johnson, who designed the logo that you see on the Natick Hall of Fame logo. That's his design. Billy Pizzuti. Here's Billy. Put together the display out in the hallway, as well as did a lot of research for us. Marge Roberson, who also helped us with some of the video stuff from the high school. Impressions Printing of Metro West, they did the booklet. And of course, all of the inductees who are making this night possible. As we were researching the athletic histories of all of the inductees, we were further reminded of why we're here tonight. You have set the bar high for those who will follow. So again, congratulations to the inductees. I'm sure there are others that I hope I didn't forget, but again, there are a lot of people that helped to put this night together. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce tonight's Master of Ceremony, Miss Susan Warnick, class of 1967. We call Vanjie the mayor of Natick, but Susan Warnick is one of our favorite townies. Even though you don't live in town anymore, but anyway, Susan Warnick.
Thank you and good night. Thank you, Kurt. I love this night. I have to tell you, I was a little concerned. It is true, I no longer live in Natick. 2 years ago, I moved out. Now I live in Needham, a suburb of Natick. Right? I thought you were going to say, and here she is, ladies and gentlemen, the oldest living anchor woman in the universe. Class of 67, I'm very proud of it, and I'm very proud to have come from Natick and grown up in Natick. Excuse me 1 second. Thank you. I've seen the profile one too many times, you know what I mean? Natick is a very, very special place. There is no question about that. And those of you who have moved away and live elsewhere and who've come back for tonight, you know that. You have a frame of reference. And those of you who still live in Natick, you understand why you do. I mean, there just is no other place like Natick. People have said to me over the years, so where did you go to school? You know, I've got this great job. I work at Channel 5. And like I said, I've been there almost 30 years, which is really amazing to me. So people say, so what was it? Where'd you go to school? And I say, Natick High. And they say, no, college. Where'd you go to college? And I say, who cares? Really. It wasn't about college. It was about Natick High. It was about Natick Junior High before that and Little G before that. Because that's where I feel like I really got my education. And that's where I learned what's really important in life, in the schools of Natick. Truly. Truly. And that's why I am honored to come back and do anything that Natick ever asks me to do, because I am so proud to be a part of this community. I want to thank those of you who've asked about my mother. Myrna Billion is great. She would have been here tonight had she been invited. No. Of course I invited her. I bring her everywhere. Thursday night is a big mahjong night for Myrna Billion. Last time I got engaged, I said, Mom, I'm getting married. And she said, well, I hope it's not Thursday. So, but she sends her love and best wishes to everyone. And those of you who have not yet met my mom, when you meet her, you know she's my mom because, of course, she tells you. So just play along. Natick High, probably more than any other high school, certainly in the state, possibly the country, has produced some outstanding athletes. There is no question about that. And this night, I know, was very difficult to pick the best because there just were so many. I was not one of them in any sport. As a matter of fact, I was pretty proud to be in the band. And I know, thank you. And Mr. LaPresti, gosh, I loved Mr. LaPresti, and I went and got there to band practice one day, and I said, Mr. LaPresti, I played the clarinet and I played the bass clarinet, and I said, I don't have a reed. And he said, that's okay. I just didn't even get that for years later. But you know what? It was okay. Because I still got the uniform, and I still was part of what was a great Natick High School band that played at all the football games and all of the big events. We start tonight with a remarkable group. And this is all in the program books as well, so if you'd like to follow along, I would encourage you to do that. The 1911 football team. They won the Midland League Championship and considered to be one of the greatest teams in the history of Natick High School. Coached by Dude Prey and led by Captain Frank Sheehan, this team played 2 games a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays, scored 524 points to their opponents' 18. Defeated Wellesley. What? Let me tell you the score. Wellesley 0, Natick 101. They defeated Westboro, another shutout. Natick 74. Their opponents were held scoreless in 12 out of 16 games. 3 players Murray, 170 points. Casey, 140 points. Sheehan, 100 points. Scored 100 points or more for the season. Bill Murray set a single game record for converting extra points, 16, 14 in a row. And due to the lopsided scoring, their coach instructed them to immediately punt the ball back to their opponent and play defense only. The team members included, and I'm just going to go through the list because then we are going to present the award to all of them as a group. Frank Sheehan, Eddie Casey, Tom Whalen, Chick Welsh, Squeaky Campbell, Frank Soufflet, Amby Whalen, Punk Mahard, Francis Murphy, El Morse, Maurice McGrath, Tom Mallory, Jim Mahoney, G. Salou, Bill Murray, Arnold Amoroso, Vic Doherty, Charlie Sweeney, Z. O'Rourke, Tricky Murphy, L. Ray McDonald, Russell Fry, Tony Sweeney, Ed Kearns, H. Meserve, Clarence Eldridge, Leo Beret, Doc Grady, Pay Hayden, Dyke Quackenbush, Slip Howard, and Cortland Brown. Let's hear it for them. The football team from 1911. And accepting the award for this wonderful team, Kirk Buschenfeld.
If I could just have, I believe there are a couple of families here who are relatives of members of this team. If they are here, please stand up. I think the arenas. And this plaque will be hanging in the new Athletic Hall of Fame at our new Natick High School. We're not sure where it's going to be at this point, but we're hopeful that there will be one there. So congratulations to the football team 1911.
And now I thought maybe we could go around the room and ask you each to stand and say a little something about yourselves. The boys' ice hockey team in 1951 was truly amazing. No, I was not one of the cheerleaders for this team, for those of you who are wondering. Let me just do this quickly for you. I did graduate, as Kirk said, 1967, class of 67. 60. I'll save you the trouble, okay? I don't want you doing the math now. You'd be saying she graduated, she was 18, so, okay. The boys' hockey ice team was truly amazing, coached by Robert Carroll and led by co-captains Tom Duke Curley and Charles Pandy Tutuni. The 1951 boys ice hockey team was the first Natick hockey team to win the Massachusetts state title and the Eastern Massachusetts state title, and placed third in the New England Hockey Championship. And I know that some of the members are here tonight. So when I say your name, if you are here, could you please come on up? Thomas Duke Curley. Come on up, Tom. Tom, you stay here while we also call up co-captain Charles Pandy Tutuni. Richard Ciccarelli. Jack Quilty. George Finley. George Putt Morgan. Come on up, Putt. C. Bassett. Come on up, Mr. Bassett. Sal Paranello. Sal Paranello. Come on up, Sal. Sal just said to me, I sold you cable. Which one? Ronnie Flynn. Peter Stone. Danny Whalen. Jack Sheehan. Richard Griffith. Henry Doc Grady. Come on up, Dr. Grady. Doc. John Carter. Ron Ellis. Come on up, Ron. Bill Balcom. Come on up, Bill. back. Where are you, Bert? Bill Thomas. Come on up, Bill Thomas. John Cadlick. Paul Gassett. Dono Griffith. Oh, where's Paul? Paul, come on up, Paul. Paul Gassett. Paul says to me, tell these guys we got practice at 2 o'clock. Donald Griffith. And Richard Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the 1951 boys hockey team. I would like to invite the co-captains Curley and Tatuni to please come up and accept the plaque.
First of all, I'd like to pay tribute to 3 of our departed teammates. Dick Kane, who later went on to become captain of the Boston College Eagles, George Finley, our defenseman, and Jack Quilty, our other defenseman. I'd like to say that every single member of our team played a major role in our journey to the championship. But there's one person I'd like to introduce you to tonight. But I never found the time or the venue, but I think tonight is the right time. He never really got the credit that I felt he deserved. He was there for every game. He played a major role. He did his job, and I might say he did it extremely well. He was the backbone of our team. He was the catalyst that held us all together. And he is my friend, he was my teammate, and he was our goaltender, Salvi Paranello. I just wanted to say that we played in the championship playoffs against the best teams they could throw against us. And Salvi Peronello, average goal for the 3 championship games was 1.3 goals per game. Very outstanding. In conclusion, I was going to ask the team members to stand up, but they're all standing up. So I would like to say, on behalf of the team, we are honored. We are honored that you have chosen us to be inducted in the first annual Natick Hall of Fame. We thank you, and may God bless you.
Duke covered everything I wanted to say, but again, I want to thank everyone, the committee, the town, because the town has been behind us since 1951. The only other thing I want to say is thank you very much.
Let's hear it for him one more time, ladies and gentlemen. The 1951 boys hockey team. You know, it's funny. I used to say to people, yes, I'm from Natick. I'm living proof there was a Natick before Doug Flutie. I used to say that. But I'm also very proud and happy to say tonight that both Doug and Darren Flutie are with us. And they're sitting over here in the corner. Come on, guys, stand up. And their beautiful wives, Lori and Terry, are also with them. Stand hi, Lori and Terry are there too. And I have to tell you something, Doug. I say to people, yeah, I'm living proof there was a Natick before Doug Flutie. And they say to me, oh, who? No, they don't. No, not one person ever did. Not one person. They said, can I meet him? The 1957 boys basketball team. Very special group of young men. Coached by Fran Carey and led by co-captains Merton and Garvey, and the Natick High School 1957 boys basketball team were Natick's first Bay State champions in basketball. 21 games without defeat. And they defeated Belmont 69-35 for the State B championship. And it is my pleasure to introduce some of the team members. Gordon Butch Merton. Come on up. Bob Garvey. Come on up, Bob Garvey. Does anybody have a phone that takes pictures? And we're going to take more pictures afterwards. Pete Smith. Pete Reynolds. Dave Morgan. John Buzan. Kurt Lund. Come on up, Kurt. Bill Barry. Bob Cannoni. Bruce Carter. Jim Stratton. Come on up, Jim. John Hassard. Tom Cadlick. Come on up, Tom. The varsity squad was managed by Steve Bishop and John Tupper. Clayton Butch Cox. Yay! Come on up, Clayton. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1957 boys basketball team. And accepting the award tonight, co-captain Butch Merton.
It is my honor to stand with my teammates as we represent the 1957 Class B state champions. We express our deepest appreciation for the honor of being inducted into the Natick High School Hall of Fame. Yeah, I think so. In the meantime, I'd like to thank Charlie McManus for my public speaking course. Those of you who were at Natick know what that is. This team had size, as you can see, talent. We played defense, very difficult. We were really good at it. We had, in basketball in 1957, no three-point shot, no shot clock. We were united as a team committed to win as we played for Fran Carey and Charlie Christie. We were inspired by the largest crowd ever to fill Natick High School gym as we came from behind to beat the Bay State All-Stars 66-62. We remain especially proud of our two 34-point wins over Winthrop and Belmont on the parquet of the old Boston Garden and winning the state championship. What made it, Smitty reminded me, what made it really important is that we were supported by 13 buses from Natick High School to the Boston Garden. It was, you also need to know that it was not the only time this team ever stood on the Boston Garden floor. We won the Class A championship as freshmen, beating Everett under Coach Jerry Fitzgerald. Most of all, we thank you for this honor tonight, and it brings us together again as a team, and that's wonderful, in our love for Natick High School. As of all the other honorees, we shall carry the memories of our 1957 team forever, and this night as well. We thank you so much and accept this honor.
The 1957 boys basketball team. Don't you just love this night? Seriously. Seeing teams come together, they haven't seen these, some of these guys haven't seen each other in years. It's a great night. Our next honoree is considered to be one of Natick's best all-around athletes. He played football for 4 years at Natick High School from 1906 to 1909. He was both captain and coach in his senior year. He even came back in 1911 to assist coaching with that great team. Played baseball at Natick High School for 3 years. He was nicknamed the janitor by his opponents since he was constantly present in the school and on the fields. Member of the Natick track team, 100-yard and the 220 dash, as well as the relay races. He was once quoted by Jim Thorpe as saying that Ned Mahan was the greatest football player he had ever seen. Ned was a 3-time All-American at Harvard who was offered several professional baseball contracts. Natick's E.F. Mahan varsity baseball field was named and dedicated in his honor. He is, of course, the great Edward Ned Mahan, and accepting the honor tonight in his behalf is his daughter, Mary Torin.
While searching through information pertaining to my dad's Natick High School career, I came across a letter dated April 24th, 1967, from Superintendent of Schools Alfred Maffio, informing Ned that that the school committee had voted by unanimous decision to name the new baseball field Edward W. Mahan Field. My father's answer was, I was delighted to receive the notification and that the new Natick High School baseball team field has been named the Edward W. Mahan Field. Also, I was further elated to learn that in my efforts on behalf of Natick High School baseball and football have been remembered after so many years have passed. Well, now, 43 years later, he is being remembered again, and this would be his 100th class reunion. Wow. And there is a party somewhere. My father loved everything about Natick. It was his home. I feel that of all the baseball and football awards and recognitions he received in his lifetime, being inducted into the Natick Athletic Hall of Fame would be at the top of his list. On behalf of Ned's children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, thank you very much for this honor and for remembering Ned Mahan. He was a true champion. Thank you.
Dorothy M. Green, the class of 1938. Let me tell you about Dorothy. An all-around athlete, a pioneer in women's sports. Started playing sports around the age of 8, by the way, with the neighborhood boys. She was captain of softball, baseball, basketball, and field hockey. Dot was a member of the Girls Athletics League, sophomore, junior, and senior years. Recipient of the insignia of the Girls Athletic League for high point scoring, 300. This is the equivalent of today's Senior Athlete Awards. She was a member of the first Natick High School women's field hockey squad, a member of the undefeated Senior Championship Volleyball Interleague team, All-American Girls Professional Basketball League at Cooperstown, inducted November 5th, 1988. Awesome, absolutely awesome. Dorothy M. Green from Natick High School, and accepting on behalf is her brother, John Green.
Don't let this frighten you. This is the second opportunity I've had in Natick to accept an honor on behalf of my sister Dorothy. It's a bittersweet occasion for me because on the one hand I do so with great pride and affection. On the other hand, with sincere regret that she's not able to be here to accept this on her own. She was a recipient of the inducted into the Wall of Achievement in 1999. Dot passed away in 1992 at the age of 71 after 11 years of a distinguished career in women's baseball, one of the top players in the country, and after 11 years as a senior administrator at the MCI Framingham. Along with the other players in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, Dottie enjoyed wide recognition and celebrity, particularly as a result of the issuance of the film League of Their Own. Gina Davis played the role of catcher in the Rockford Peaches. The real catcher in the Rockford Peaches was my sister Dorothy. This film brought attention to the long neglected history in that chapter in American sports history of these wonderful women players. I had the privilege of traveling with that team several times, and you just can't believe how good they were. And they had a tremendous impact on the morale of Midwestern cities during World War II, because people could not travel at that time, gas rationing and so forth. So Phil Wrigley, the Chicago Cubs owner, created this league to kind of make it possible for people to have recreation in their own hometowns. He also thought if the major leagues lost all of its players, they'd move these women into the major league stadiums. That didn't happen, didn't have to happen. The film featured Dot's team, the Rockford Peaches. As I said, she was a catcher there for the first 5 years, suffered a bad knee injury, and then became what they call a chaperone, which is kind of a combination assistant coach and trainer. Many things that trainers had to do there that male managers could not do in women's teams. That league was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1988, as was mentioned, not as individuals, but as an entire unit, as a symbol of the recognition of their contribution. As many kinds of recognition as Dottie received over the years, particularly as a result of that notoriety, nothing would have been treasured more than what we're seeing here this evening, her induction into the Natick Athletic Hall of Fame, and as I mentioned before, into the Wall of Achievement several years ago. That's because Dot simply loved her hometown. Why live anywhere else, she would ask. And she never did. She passed away in the same room as which she was born. Lived in that home in Natick, West Natick, throughout her whole career, our family home. She never understood why I didn't stay in Natick. I taught in Natick, class of 1950 graduate. Absolutely no athletic skill or record, which was kind of embarrassing. I was a piano teacher, and she was one of the best athletes in the country. To demonstrate her affection for Natick, she created a scholarship which we're still granting each year to an outstanding female scholar athlete at the high school. And into her late 60s, and even in failing health, you couldn't keep her away from those Thanksgiving football games. Weather was not a deterrent. We just had to wait at home or go with her to get her out for those games. Also, I remember many, many cold nights in the Boston arena, particularly in the late 40s, as she attended and dragged me to a number of Natick High School hockey games. She was just thrilled about Natick sports. So knowing how much this induction would mean to Dot, above and beyond any other honor she's ever received, I do want to express our family's profound thanks for your including her as a member of this inaugural class. And again, as many others have, congratulate the Hall of Fame Committee for initiating this wonderful new tradition for a town so proud of its rich sports heritage. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Jack, it must have been so difficult traveling with all those girls. What did he say? It was already what? 12? Oh, you were 12? Our next awardee tonight is Richard Dick Glaspie, class of 1949. A three-sport athlete, three-sport captain in football, hockey, and baseball, all-state quarterback, voted the 1948 MVP in football, recipient of the William Hannigan Memorial Trophy for Outstanding Backfield Player, and also the Italian American Trophy for Outstanding Player. All-Star player in hockey. Dick was the team and the league high scorer. He was awarded the Ralph Howard Trophy for outstanding work on the hockey team. He was also an all-state player in baseball, in addition to running indoor and outdoor track for the school. Ladies and gentlemen, from the class of 1949, we honor Dick Glasby.
Well, I finally figured out how to have a very successful banquet. You honor 5 or 6 wonderful teams, and you fill the room for 250 or 60 people. That's not a bad thing to do. I also have to put on my glasses. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. This is an outstanding evening. First of all, I would like to thank the committee for this honor. They have done a great job. I would like to congratulate the other recipients. They certainly are setting the bar very high for future candidates. Thanks to former Natick High coaches, we were always prepared better than the opposition and had a they had a great influence upon my athletic career. And of course, I would like to thank my teammates and family. They have made this day possible. Let me tell you a little story that took place with my grandchildren that are here tonight. Grandson Will, Jack, and the little guy right there, Luke. I was asked, "Grandfather, could you play today?" And I said, "Well, if I played today, I would be 3rd string." And they looked surprised, and they thought, "I thought you were really good." I answered, if I played today, I would be 79 years old, and 3rd string wouldn't look too bad. A lot of this stuff has already been taken. To all of you who have come tonight to support the first Natick High Athletic Hall of Fame, thank you very, very much. It really is a great honor. The evening is getting a little bit long, so we will say thank you very much. It has been a joy. Thank you.
Everybody knows, of course, also our next honoree tonight, Walter Reniak. Let me tell you about Walter. Class of 1961, voted the best all-around athlete at Natick High School, all-scholastic in football, baseball, and hockey. 4-year starter in baseball, .461 batting average, and state player of the year in 1961. 3-year starter in football as quarterback, 34 touchdown passes in 3 seasons. Very few passes were thrown in games at that time. State player of the year in 1961. And in hockey, he was voted Bay State League MVP, and that was something that was voted by the coaches. Won the league scoring title for 2 years, voted all Bay State League, voted the MVP by Cat Hill Americans, and he received the Ralph H. Howard Award. From the class of 1961, one of the best and most famous townies in Natick, Walter Reniak.
Got some notes here. First of all, I'd like to thank the Natick Hall of Fame Committee for electing me to this fine honor. I'd like to thank my lifelong friend, Skippy Tomasetti, for nominating me for this honor. I'd like to thank all my family and friends for coming tonight and their support. Particularly my wife Karen, my best friend, my daughter Jill, who was unable to attend tonight because she just gave birth to our first granddaughter Elle up in Crowne. And to my niece Elaine and her husband Alex, all the way up from Baltimore, Maryland. Thanks for coming, Elaine. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees, particularly John Carroll and his entire family. It's obvious that Mr. Carroll was a great coach and athletic director, but more importantly than that, in my mind, Mr. Carroll truly was a great person. He helped many people get into college. He helped many people go on interviews to get in college. My niece was one of them. He helped the elderly. He truly was a great person. So once again, congratulations to the entire Carroll family. I'd like to thank my mother and father and sister for all the sacrifices they made so I could play my sports. Particularly my father, who spent countless hours with me and taught me many great lessons. I'd like to thank all the coaches I had at Natick High School. Bob Whalen, Jim Stalin, who's here tonight, who went on to have an outstanding career at Newburyport High School as a football coach and athletic director. Dan Bennett, Bob Bell, Eddie Casey, and John Carroll. But I know I certainly couldn't have accomplished the things I did at Natick if it wasn't for those people. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the town of Natick, Massachusetts, and all the people for all the support of all the athletes over the years that has truly made Natick a great town to grow up in, go to school, and play sports. Thank you.
Walter Reniak, ladies and gentlemen. Our next honoree tonight is Jane Murphy from the class of 1973. Jane is remarkable, outstanding in 3 sports, earned 9 varsity letters out of a possible 9 varsity letters in 3 sports: field hockey, basketball, and softball. Varsity starter for 3 years in all 3 sports, captain of all 3 teams, leading scorer in field hockey for Natick in 1972, MVP and high scorer all 3 years. Leading scorer in the Bay State League, had a 31 and 51 point game. No 3-point shots were allowed at the time. Averaged 1 home run per game. MVP for 2 years and voted most outstanding female athlete in 1973. Ladies and gentlemen, Jane Murphy!
I'm not a public speaker, so please bear with me. I too just want to thank everybody, the committee, that the work these guys had to do is incredible. The night is great. Thank you very much. Thank you to my family, who are all in the back. My brother Joe and his family, my brother John and his family, my brother Jeff, who came up from North Carolina for this, and my sister Joan. I want to thank my neighbors that are here tonight, where I grew up on Pinewood Ave, where we played 24/7. Whether it was raining, sleeting, snowing, we were always outside playing. Especially Jim and Mary Arena's yard. They had the best yard because they had grass. So took the fall a little better. I'd like to thank my teammates, my friends. Coach Mary Levitt's there. She's the best coach I ever had. She was the most passionate person. After playing for her, I hope that I brought to other people what she brought to me. Vi Tooney, Mr. Tooney's here. She taught me.
Middle of the road, of course.
She does rule. In well, it was junior high school then, Coolidge Junior High. We were having a faculty student basketball game. You know, and I thought, oh, well, I played with the boys and my brothers, and I'll do okay. She got up next to me. She hip checked me into the stands, into the wall, and she said, "Don't ever put your head down." Right? Women's sports is much different today than when I played. We played 9 games a season. We played basketball with no three-point line. You've heard all of this. After field hockey games, we went to the cafeteria to mingle with the other team. That was a requirement. So the school provided the milk and the moms provided the cookies. That was always interesting, to say the least. Our uniforms were actually tunics. How many people here played softball in a tunic? Sliding was very difficult. We wore white tunics and blue turtlenecks to play basketball. Don't ask me why. We finally got new softball uniforms one year. The first time in 3 years we had new uniforms, but they were all size 2, 4, and 6. Needless to say. So they had to take those red tunics back out of the closet and put them back on our backs. Anyway, things are different today, but I wouldn't trade anything that happened in high school. They had great friends, great family, great neighbors. And thank you to all. And to my mother, my biggest fan. Yeah. This is yours, just as much yours.
Jane Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Miss Levitt, it's great to see you. I did not see you before. Miss Levitt was also one of my teachers. It's great to see you. Yeah, really, let's hear it for her. What? Yeah, and that would be in physiology I had Miss Levitt, no. I think, Miss Levitt, I had you for Biology 1, 3 years in a row. if I'm not mistaken. And Vi Tatuni, I have to tell you, when I first started on Channel 5 some 30 years ago, Vi Tatuni told people, oh yeah, I was her teacher. Now she tells people she's my sister. And I don't tell them it's wrong. Right. Our next honoree is from the class of 1999, Karen Ching Coburn. Let me tell you about Karen. During her Natick High School swimming career, Karen set 5 individual and 4 relay medley records between 1995 and 1998. State champion in 4 different events from 1995 through 1997. 4-year Bay State Conference All-Star, 4-time Boston Globe All-Scholastic, 4-time Boston Herald All-Scholastic, 4-time Metro West All-Scholastic, National Interscholastic Swim Coaches America Academic All-American, USA Swimming Academic All-American, Natick High School Female Athlete of the Year, 1999. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen Ching Coburn. Do I look at all familiar?
Of course. I spotted her as soon as I came in, actually. No, I just wanted to thank everyone so much. Thank you, first of all, to the committee for nominating me. It's honestly very humbling to be with all of you that are here tonight, so I really appreciate the support. I also want to thank, actually, my coach is here, my swim coach, Brian King, in the back. And without Brian, we wouldn't have had a great team that we did. So he really kept us together through the ups and downs, and took me on as a freshman, not necessarily the easiest freshman to probably coach. So I appreciate all your patience. And I also wanted to thank Mr. Buschenfeld. He was actually my track coach, and there is a reason why that it's not listed in the booklet. I'm 5'4" and thought it would be a good idea to try high jump. That didn't work out so well. So that's why we have only swimming listed on there, but I just wanted to thank him too. He let me at least try the high jump and run into the bar a few times, and then I decided I'd just do, 100-yard sprint. So thank you. And last but not least, I just want to thank my friends and family that are here tonight. I really appreciate all their support, and even some of the teachers that I've had from elementary school to middle school to high school that are here tonight to support me. I really, really appreciate it. And again, thank you all so much.
Karen Ching Coburn, ladies and gentlemen. Our next honoree was an unbelievable coach, Mary S. Pierce. And let me tell you a little bit about Mary. She was the head coach for Natick High School's boys swimming team from 1978 until 1987. Mary won 5 Bay State League crowns, 3 conference meet titles, runner-up in the South Sectional 1982, Boston Globe's All-Scholastic Coach of the Year for Boys Swim 1986, and she was inducted into the Massachusetts Swim Coaches Hall of Fame in 1992. And Jim. Her sons accepting in Mary's behalf, Jim and Lloyd Pierce. Come on up.
Thank you. This is quite an honor. I wish she was here today. She passed away in January. And she did this for the kids. It was all about the kids. She didn't go to Natick. She was from Illinois. She married a man from Massachusetts and ended up in Natick. We had the summer program, Natick Recreation, Mr. Rourke. And it was a good program. It was a great program. And it showed that there needs to be more swimming. So she started a swimming program out of Wayland for Natick swimmers. And then, as we got older, there's no high school swimming. What are we going to do? So she went to the town, went to the school committees, and said, can we have a boys swimming team? Can we have a girls swimming team? And they said, sure. You can have a swim team. You can run it. Good luck. We'll support you. Well, she did it. She developed the feeder program that fed the high schools, the Natick boys and the girls. She took the available talent and molded them to win meets, not using the ace players to get a win here and a win there, but to get the second and third place as well. She knew all aspects of the swimming, though she wasn't taught as a coach. She'd never been coached to be a coach. She in high school, she swam a summer league. In college, she did synchronized swimming. That's not competitive in speed, per se. But she persevered. She moved forward. She had help from the town. And this would never happen if the town wasn't a society that backed up their people. And the town did. The town backed her up. The kids came forward. We went out. We swam. We won. In our first year as a team, we fielded a team for the national, for the states. We sent 5 or 6 swimmers, and we got 5th place. There were teams with 20, 30 kids there. She beat them. And when she got home, she was mom. There was no big celebration, no banners. It was dinner's coming, have a seat. Get up for school, we must get going. It was never about, you know, she had to plan for a meet, we had to keep quiet. It was just, you know, she did it and raised us and helped the town with other aspects. She did more than just swimming. And from that, and with the help of the town, she's remembered tonight. And I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the entire town. It's a nice town.
You know, there's been a recurring theme tonight, and you don't need me to remind you, but to a person, when we talk about the coaches from Natick and the teachers, they were exceptional in so many ways. They were not only themselves excellent athletes, but they were role models. And even more than that, they were people, men and women, who just cared about the kids. Just cared about the kids. And when I talk about this next guy, it's hard for me because I knew him personally, and even though I was never one of the athletes under his care, he knew my name just like he knew the names of every single kid in the school, whether we played a sport, whether we didn't, whether we were in band, whether we were in detention, or whether we were in honor society. There was no guy quite like John Carroll. He was the athletic director in Natick from 1974 to 1991, and he was a great coach between the years of 1960 and 1991. And I want you to know a little something about John if you don't already. Coach Carroll's guidance and influence resonated with the young and the young at heart in Natick and touched the NHS athletes, students, and Natick's senior citizens as well. His office door was always open, and his favorite saying was, "No problem." Coach Carroll furthered the proud heritage of Natick High as one of the best athletic programs in this state. He was instrumental in creating an athletic complex that was second to none. When a player, competitor, or spectator walked into an athletic event, they knew they were at the home of champions. As a varsity baseball coach, Coach Carroll was the first coach in Massachusetts to break the 500-win barrier. His team won countless numbers of league titles, Bay State championships in 1960, 65, 83, 85, and South Sectional championships in 82 and 87. He was inducted into the Massachusetts Baseball Hall of Fame in 1981, and he truly was one of the great bright spots in the history of this great town of Natick. Accepting on behalf of Coach Carroll is his son, Blaine.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of my mother, my brother John, and my sisters Joanne and Leslie, I would like to thank the members of the Natick Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for recognizing my father, and to thank all of you for being here tonight. My father would be very proud tonight. As many of you know, he was a humble man that was always looking to see what he could do for others and not himself. In this spirit, I know he is most proud to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with this group of people. He spoke fondly of Dot Green and Dick Clasby, two people he cared about very much. When you asked him if his baseball game, was home or away, he'd always reply, "At Mahan," a true sign of respect from Mr. Mahan. He always took pride in the teams at Natick High and supported them at all the same. I can still remember driving over to Dedham with him one night to watch one of Coach Pierce's swim meets. And I remember how pleased he was when Tom Lamb came to Natick. That would have been the first time he came, Tom. He always said Tom was a great guy. And of course, with Walter, there was a special bond that goes back to his first team at Natick. No matter what accomplishments Walter was achieving, my father always referred to him as such a good boy. It's hard for me to stand up here and talk about all that my father accomplished. First of all, there isn't enough time, but also I don't know them all. He was not the type of person to speak about himself. We could say it was his wins, the top-notch facilities that he built, the new teams that he added, the inclusion of young and old into the sports programs, and the countless students that he helped, whether driving them to college interviews or advising them on a trade. But I do know his biggest accomplishment. It was the athletics. It was using athletics to pull together a town and teach decades of children how to respect themselves and how to respect others. Going to a Natick High game was more than just going to a game. It was an event. Children knowing players, players knowing their elders, and everyone knowing my dad and him knowing them. He was an inspiration to so many people and a joy to be around. On behalf of my family, I thank you for this great honor and with the pride of sharing it with the other inductees tonight. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm done. No, I'm not, because I have one more very special guy that I want to talk about tonight. You know, unfortunately, Coach Carroll wasn't here tonight to hear all the wonderful things that his son just said and to accept all the great sentiment, but there is a coach here tonight who is very, very much loved and who happily is here to be honored and so that he can hear firsthand about what a great guy and what a wonderful influence he's been on so many young people. He, of course, is Coach Tom Lamb. Coach Lamb was the head football coach and math teacher at Natick High from 1975 to 1990. He also coached track, baseball, softball, and basketball. He returned to Natick in 2000 as athletic director and head football coach. He is the recipient of multiple Boston Globe, Boston Herald, and Boston Gridiron Coaching Awards. The New England Patriots Coach of the Week for his 200th football win versus Wellesley. The recipient of the Natick Center Association Heart of the Community Award and the MIAA John E. Young Award in this year, 2010. 5 trips to the Super Bowl, 3 wins, Melrose in 1982, Peabody in 1983, and Foxborough in 2005. And Tom was inducted into the Massachusetts High School Coaches Hall of Fame in 1990. And if you talk to any student who had him either on the field or in an arena or in a classroom, they smile with warmth and love when you mention Coach Tom Lamb, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Susan. To all of you here tonight, it is a long night, and I'll try to be brief here. I think I really feel an extra burden in being the coach that is here tonight and able to speak from a coach's perspective on the evening. And therefore, I'm going to be thanking everyone that help us coaches do what we do. If we've had some success, it's because of all those people around us. So let me jump into that quickly. And first of all, Susan, thank you very much. As you know, she's such a shining star in this community for her excellence and for her personality. And she just won, I'm not sure you all know, she just won the Shining Light Award this past year. And very much deserved. She's very, very special to this community. Congratulations to all the recipients. What a fantastic group. Wow. The only thing, the next step is, can you imagine next year's group? Unbelievable. And it's what a fantastic night. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee on my behalf, for sure. But I also know, because so much of it happened in my office up at the high school, this staff in and out and working so hard and staying after hours, and just a tremendous, tremendous amount of work. And even more than that, I want to give them credit for having the guts to do this, because their concern, we've had concern and a desire to do this for a number of years, but we had so much history that many people were afraid to take it on because of the fact that we'd have to have 100 people in the first night to do it the right way. And they said, we're going to do it. Let's do it. Let's step forward. We're the home of champions. Let's do it right. So, committee, it wasn't easy, but congratulations. On my own behalf, again, the group I have with me at my table, I'd like to thank very much and introduce you to. I'm very proud that they're here tonight. First of all, I want to mention our equipment managers, Billy Prasuti and Kirk Buschenfeld and Bob Galani, who I think is traveling to Greece tonight. What a shame. But those guys have helped me so much through the years with football and then AD and all that combination that is a challenge for us in this job. One guy over in the back of my table here, who I say is a member of our family, when I very first had contact with Mr. Carroll in Natick back in the day, he was the only person I knew from Natick. And he told me he was the principal, the fire chief, the police chief, and he told me, if you take this job, if you don't win, go back up to the Berkshires. And that's very seriously, he was dating Shirley lived next to my mother-in-law here up in Adams, and he was the first person I ever knew, and that's Vanjie Sticka. And, Vanjie, we've had some fun times, and just very, very special person to me for 33 years that we've been in Natick. You're a good man. Also, I'd like to introduce over at the table my mother-in-law, Rachel Bongelati, who is, my wife and I have been together since we were 13 years old, and I'll be 62 next week, so that's been a little while. But, so my mother-in-law, Rachel Bongelati, has been a supporter of me for a long, right since junior high school. She's 92 years old, and she's unbelievable. So thank you, Meme, for all. Sitting next to her on either side, her son Lee, who was one of my teammates in high school, is an outstanding football player and has been a tremendous support for me. His son Dan, right next to Meme, and Kate, daughter Kate Bongelati, both of them have been great supporters of me and were fine athletes at Bentley College. Thank you for coming, both of you. Outstanding job. I'd like to introduce, I think you all know Joel, our son, and his wife Ainsley are right down in front here. Joel's been a part of an awful lot of those wins that we've had out here and has been a Natick athlete and had the pleasure of playing with Mr. Carroll and got to watch Blaine. You know, so many athletes here looked up to someone at the next levels, looking up to Walter or John Melchiori, as Blaine said, and Joel talking about watching Blaine when he was 10 years old. And we have such a great tradition with that, and it's wonderful to have my son and daughter-in-law here. Joel is coaching at Harvard, and just a year ago was receiving the Gridiron Club Division I Assistant Coach of the Year award from Timmy Whalen Sr. that was running that Gridiron Club down there. And Ainsley, my daughter-in-law, is the head field hockey coach at Boston College, and just a little while ago received the ECAC Coach of the Year in New England, so they've had good years. It's been a good year. It's been a good year in the Lamb family. And there's one other character down here in front. Our wives, when we're coaches, as all of you know out there, share a real burden with us of dealing with all that we have to deal with, and just a very special person. As they say, we've been together, we're best friends. We've been together since we were 13 in junior high school. We'll be married 41 years in a little, in June 21st. But she's very special. Back in when we were 17 years old and I had my first coaching job, I was coaching a Babe Ruth baseball team, and it was actually, we had to drive a little ways to our games, and we used to both take cars. She would jump in and drive her car and drive the team, and I would drive. Well, for some reason, the 17-year-old blonde would get 10 of the team, and I'd get 3. And when I saw the guys a little later, I said, what's up with that? And they said, Coach, you always, what do you think? 17-year-old, come on, give us a break. The guys got the short straw that had to ride with you all the time. But it was very special, and she's always been my supporter, and just the best person in the world, and very strong person. And as you know, Natick is a very passionate town, and that first year when I was coaching, and I was a real rookie, and those guys on the top shelf were throwing tomatoes and saying, who's the next guy? she dealt with that like wives do, and just very special. Thank you very much. I'd also quickly like to mention my mom and dad. We lost my mom this past football season at 82, and Dad is at 82 and is doing pretty well, but is up in the Berkshires tonight and wanted to come down. But I know he's proud, and I know Mom up there is very proud of her son tonight. She loved Natick, and Mom, I wish you were here. Thank you to all of our coaches. We've had guys, you know that, all these fantastic coaches I've had. If you're a football coach, your assistants, that's what it's about. And we've had some fantastic assistants. I mean, geez, I don't want to go into naming them because we'll miss somebody. I mean, I'm thinking of Bob Galani and Joe Kiley and Mort over here, who's Mark Mortarelli is going to be our new football coach. Mort, stand up over there, Mort. I think of all the fantastic players. Thank you, players, for so many we've had. Just unbelievable. Some very, very special people. It was great to see so many of them tonight. All the different guys we've had, and I've been here in 2 regimes. I went off and coached in college for a few years in the middle, went off to the circus until we decided that was enough. Let's get back to where you belong. And the players, just fantastic. Matter of fact, if you don't mind, I'd like all the players and coaches that have worked with us together in this thing. Could you all stand up? I think there are quite a few here. Come on, coaches and players. Thank you to all you guys. All of you, thank you. It's very special. I thank Mr. Carroll, Mrs. Carroll's here, and John and Blaine, and that's sitting at our table over here. And Mr. Carroll was as special to me as he was to all of you. I can remember when I first came in the door, and I was actually teaching before I was coaching football, and he handed me a book and said, "You're the indoor track coach." And I said, "Coach, I've never been to a track meet." He said, "You'll be fine. Just read this. You'll be fine." And we won the league, and thanks to Don Burnham and guys that knew what they were doing. But that was Mr. Carroll, as we all know. And lo and behold, I didn't realize he was testing me out because the football job was open the next fall, and I ended up getting that. So I didn't know my whole career rested on that track team success right there. I also want to mention a couple other people, Steve Ryder from Framingham and Dr. Gail Cosgrove, a Natick guy who actually was on the school committee in Natick and worked at Framingham State and actually ended up getting me over here. And Steve Ryder brought us down from the Berkshires originally when we first started working at Framingham State College. I thank the town of Natick, it was mentioned, for just being so special. Just a fantastic place. I think of Mr. Hughes, our principal now, and Ms. Bertucci over there, our new principal. Ms. Bertucci, raise your hand next year. Margaret Boudreau is next to her, is one of our new vice principals next year. Some very special people, as we all know, a very special time. I want to thank Paul Peters and Jim Connolly for, I was working in Norwood, as some of you know that story, and they came back and said, "You need to be back in Natick," and this one down in front said, "You need to be back in Natick," and when she says that, we're back in Natick. It's the way it works. I also want to thank, I mentioned a few names real quickly here down near the end, but Jerry Hartwell and Eddie Carr and the Junior Redmen. I think of Jim Webb and Dave Lamont in another regime that were fantastic with all of our people, and Joe Giuliani and Peter Mundy and those people that have helped so much with all we've done and here in the town. So I leave you real quickly with just that I'm the luckiest coach in the world to have been here in Natick, to have cut my teeth here in Natick with Mr. Carroll, then have a chance to go off. I still remember the time the college guy came down the math wing and the S wing upstairs, and Barry Gallup, who had been coaching at BC, and he'd been recruiting a lot of our kids, including Doug and Darren, and he came down the hallway, peeked in my math classroom, and I went out and said, "Barry, who are you here to see?" And he said, "I'm after you." And I said, "What does that mean?" And he said, "Well, I want you to come and coach in college with me." And we ended up doing that at that time for a few years. And it was, as I say, it was fantastic being off in the circus. These two down here are in that now, Joel and Ainsley. It was great, but My point being, how lucky can a person be to get back into Natick as athletic director and football coach? I am just so lucky to have been able to go off to the circus and get back here. And thank you very much for all you've done for me. And I hope maybe I've been able to put a little spot on that collage that is the whole Natick athletic program. It's a very, Carol Lowenstein, one of Mr. Carroll's friends and Dick Clasby's friends here down front sitting next to me, said, wow, what an enthusiastic crowd. And that's because this place is special. So thank you very much. What a fantastic night. Great job, committee. And stop up to the high school and see these games. Now, we've got some good teams this spring. Let's go. Thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Tom Lamb. It was great. It's a great speech, Coach. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, you two have been married, it'll be 41 years. I can add all mine together and not come up with 4. So I am going to turn it back to Kurt in just 1 second, but I have to say a couple of quick things before I leave this microphone tonight. One of them is that, as I said and alluded to at the beginning, when people say to me, where are you from? It's Natick. It's just Natick. It doesn't matter where else I've ever lived for a year, for 20 minutes. I am from Natick. I will always be from Natick. And I know that each and every one of you in this room understands that. Because this is the home of champions, and we're not just talking about sports. We are talking about some of the finest human beings that you've ever met, some of the finest human beings who you are, and some of the best opportunities that you will ever have at any age. And so, in behalf of the committee and in behalf of everybody who had 1 second of planning this night, I am so proud to be a part of it. And again, congratulations to each and every one of our inductees tonight. Thank you for honoring me by letting me be a part of it.
Just the last couple things here, people, please. I thank Coach Lamb for bailing me out. I apologize for not recognizing the other administrators here to my left. I'm sure I'm forgetting others as well. One other I'd like to recognize, I'm not sure if he's still here, Attorney Richard Glazer. Is he still here? He put together the bylaws for the Athletic Hall of Fame. And many hours of work. You know, for those of you that are attorneys or have dealt with attorneys, you know that those billable hours he didn't bill us. And we greatly appreciate the fact that he put together the bylaws for us and helped us become a nonprofit organization. So I wanted to recognize him as well. Also, one other thing, we want to recognize the Bay State Conference athletic directors, if they could stand up, who came to honor Coach Lamb. They're here. Thank you. And at this time, well, he's already been talked about. We'd like to have His Honor the Mayor himself, Vanjie Sticker, come up and lead us in the Natick fight song. All right. Yeah, the mic doesn't go too far. You can hold it if you like.
Coach, I'm going to miss you. You're a great coach, okay? Now, I got to tell you something. 2 years ago, I turned 80. And I got three things happen to you when you turn 80. The first thing is, I can't remember what the hell I done yesterday. And the other two things, I forgot what they were. Okay, now I'm gonna sing the fight song, and you can all join me. When Natick High goes marching down the field, you'll know that they will never, never yield. Although the other team has lots of pep, when they meet Natick High, they'll know they're out of step. And when this game goes down in history, to be another Natick victory. So let the cheers ring out for Natick High, rah, rah. Team. Hey!
I realize this has been a long night, but it's been well worth the time. And we'd like to end the evening. We'd hope that you may stay and watch this slide and video presentation. This is an awesome piece of material that kind of ties the whole evening together. It's how many minutes? Not too many. Okay, 15 minutes.
Considered to be one of the greatest in Natick High School history, the 1911 football team won the Midland League Championship. Led by captain Frank Sheehan, the team members were Eddie Casey, Tom Whelan, Chick Welch, Squeaky Campbell, Schufel, Amby Whelan, Punk Mihard, Francis Murphy, L. Morse, Maurice McGrath, Tom Mallory, Jim Mahoney, G. Salou, Bill Murray, Arnold Amoroso, Vic Doherty, Charlie Sweeney, Zio Rourke, Tricky Murphy, L. Ray McDonald, Russell Fry, Tony Sweeney, Ed Kearns, H. Meserve, and Clarence Eldridge. 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, the 1911 football team. The 1951 boys ice hockey team was the first Natick High hockey team to win the Massachusetts state title and the Eastern Massachusetts state title. Led by co-captains Thomas Duke Curley and Charles Pondy Tatuni, team members are Richard Ciccarelli, Jack Quilty, George Finley, George Putt Morgan, Charles Bassett, Sal Parinello, Ronnie Flynn, Peter Stone, Danny Whelan, Jack Sheehan, Richard Griffith, Henry Doc Grady Sr., John Carter, Ron Ellis, Bill Balcom, Bert Anderlich, Bill Thomas, John Cadlick, Paul Gassett, Donald Griffith, Richard Kane, and the head coach was Robert Carroll. 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, the 1951 boys ice hockey team. The 1957 boys basketball team was Natick High School's first Bay State championship in basketball when they went 21 games without a defeat and beat Belmont 69-35 for the State B championship. Led by co-captains Gordon Butch Merton and Bob Garvey, team members include Pete Smith, Pete Reynolds, Dave Morgan, Clayton Butch Cox, John Boozen, Kurt Lund, Bill Berry, Bob Canoni, Bruce Carter, Jim Stratton, John Hazard, and Tom Claddock completed the varsity squad.
And here come the Redmen, led by co-captains Bob Garvey and Butch Merton for the second half. There's the drum majorettes, cheerleaders. Natick brought about 13 busloads in. Over to Garvey, back to Merton, jump shot, round the rim and in. Merton back to Reynolds, into Morgan. Morgan takes the jump, hits that soft 12-footer. Reynolds with the ball to Merton, to Smith. He drives. Oh, makes a nice soft running one-hander. Smith with the ball from Morgan. Merton out of bounds. Reynolds takes the shot. Bang! 31-17. Reynolds has been on fire this period. Into the first half. 38-19 Natick. Natick had a very impressive second period, outscoring Belmont 25-8. There's the pretty Natick cheerleaders.
(2010) Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, the 1957 boys basketball team. Edward Ned Mahan played football for 4 years at Natick High School. He was both captain and coach in his senior year. His natural talent and tremendous ability was transferred to his teammates, making him the unofficial coach. He played baseball at Natick High School for 3 years and was a member of the Natick track team. Jim Thorpe, considered by many to be the greatest athlete of all, dubbed Ned Mahan the greatest football player he had ever seen. Natick's E.F. Mahan varsity baseball field is named and dedicated in his honor. From the class of 1910, 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Edward Ned Mahan. Dorothy Dot Green was an all-around athlete and pioneer of women's sports. Dot started playing sports around the age of 8 with the neighborhood boys. In high school, she played women's baseball, ping pong, basketball, badminton, bowling, tennis, volleyball, field hockey, and was a member of the orchestra. She was the recipient of the insignia of the Girls Athletic League for high point scoring, scoring 300 points. This is equivalent of today's Senior Athlete Awards. She was a catcher for the Rockford Peaches of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, which is honored at the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. From the class of 1938, 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Dorothy Dot Green. Richard Dick Clasby excelled in 3 sports. In football, Dick Clasby was the 1948 MVP, won the William Hannigan Memorial Trophy for Outstanding Backfield Player, the Italian American Trophy for Outstanding Player, and was an All-State quarterback. In hockey, he served as captain, was the team high scorer, league high scorer, and won the Ralph Howard Trophy for outstanding work on the hockey team and was an all-state hockey player. In baseball, he served as captain and was an all-state baseball player. He was also a member of the indoor and outdoor track teams at Natick High School. Richard Dick Clasby was the class president and a member of the senior executive committee as well. From the class of 1949, 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Richard Dick Clasby. Walter Reniak was a three-sport athlete. In football, he was the varsity quarterback for 3 years, throwing 34 touchdown passes during his career. He won the Outstanding Player Award in the annual Thanksgiving Day game in 1959 and was an All-Bay State League quarterback. In hockey, Walter Reniak was a 3-year varsity center, accumulating 64 points, 42 goals, 22 assists, with Bay State League MVP and league scoring title honors as well. In baseball, he was the shortstop for 4 years, team captain and MVP. Walter Reniak was a 3-sport All-Scholastic and was voted best all-around athlete at Natick High School in 1961. He went on to play Major League Baseball and became hitting coach for the Chicago White Sox as well as the Boston Red Sox. From the class of 1961, 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Walter Reniak. Jane Murphy was an outstanding 3-sport athlete, playing field hockey, basketball, softball. She was a varsity starter for 3 years in all 3 sports, earning 9 varsity letters, and served as captain on all 3 teams as well. In field hockey, Jane Murphy was the leading scorer for Natick in 1972. In basketball, she averaged 17 points per game, was the leading scorer in the Bay State League, and team MVP and high scorer all 3 years. In softball, Jane Murphy averaged 1 home run per game, hit 3 home runs over the Dedham right center field fence in 1 game, and Jane Murphy was the team MVP for 2 years as well. Jane Murphy was also voted Most Outstanding Female Athlete in 1973. From the class of 1973, 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Jane Murphy. Karen Ching Corbin was a swimmer at Natick High School. She set 9 Natick High School swimming records. She won 5 state championships. She was a 4-time Bay State Conference All-Star, a 3-time Boston Globe All-Scholastic, a 4-time Boston Herald All-Scholastic, as well as Metro West All-Scholastic, a National Interscholastic Swim Coaches of America Academic All-American in 1998, and a USA Swimming Academic All-American in 1998 as well. Natick High School Female Athlete of 1999. From the class of 1999, 2010 High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Karen Ching Corbin. Mary Pierce coached boys swimming from 1978 to 1987 and girls swimming from 1985 to 1987 as well. For girls swimming, her overall record was 6-14. It was as boys swim team coach that she was a champion though. Overall record of 62 wins, 32 losses, 5 Bay State League crowns, 3 conference meet titles, and South Sectional runner-up for 1982. She was Boston Globe's All-Scholastic Coach of the Year for boys swimming in 1986 and inducted into the Massachusetts Swim Coaches Hall of Fame in 1992. 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Coach Mary Pierce. John Carroll was Natick's athletic director from 1974 to 1991 and coached the football team for several years. But it was baseball where Mr. Carroll found his true love. During his 30-plus years of coaching baseball at Natick High School, Coach Carroll amassed a record of 501 wins and 208 losses. He won 4 Bay State championships and 2 South Sectional titles, and Coach Carroll was elected to the State Coaches Hall of Fame in 1981. In 2008, Natick High School renamed the baseball complex in honor of Mr. Carroll at Mahan Field. Seems everyone who lived in Natick during his tenure has a John Carroll story, from athletes, non-athletes to senior citizens. He even took a chance and gave an aspiring announcer guy his first break. 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Coach John Carroll. Tom Lamb has been a coach at Natick High School for years. It was as head football coach that Coach Lamb became a Hall of Famer. He coached football at Natick High School from 1976 to 1990 and again from 2000 to 2009. He won 7 Bay State titles, made 5 trips to the Super Bowl, and won 3 Super Bowl state championships, one in 1982, 1983, and 2005. Coach Lamb has been inducted into the Massachusetts High School Coaches Hall of Fame in 1990, Boston Gridiron Coach of the Year in 2003, and Shriners Football Coach of the Year, New England Patriots Coach of the Week for his 200th career victory in 2005, and the recipient of the Natick Heart of the Community Award, John E. Young Award given by the MIAA for Outstanding Leadership in 2010. 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Coach Tom Lamb. Congratulations to the class of 2010 Natick High School Athletic Hall of Fame inductees, and thank you for your contribution in making Natick the true home of champions.